Hi, my name is Allison Knight. I'm the health coach for Employee Health Center, and this is Mindful Monday. The last few weeks we've been talking about recognizing aversion, identifying our personal triggers and cues, and then trying to relearn how to react without aversion and in more mindful ways. Today we are talking about allowing things to be as they already are. Unpleasant feelings are undeniably part of life, and the feeling themselves can be a challenge. Whether or not those feelings are going to cause problems further down the road is entirely dependent on how we react to them. If we react to unpleasant feelings with aversion, it's more than likely going to escalate, and we're going to get stuck in that perpetual cycle of stress, depression, anger, anxiety. So I want to start by reading a little excerpt called Waiting in Line. So Yoshi had finished his weekly shopping at the supermarket and surveyed the long checkout lines. He was usually pretty good at figuring out the fastest line to join. Today he got in line that looked longer than the others, but in which everyone had only a few items to buy. He smiled at his clever choice. The first two customers checked out quickly, and now there were just two ahead of him. The first changed her mind about one of her purchases and asked the cashier for a replacement. He disappeared for a few minutes before returning with the right item. Yoshi could feel a mounting sense of irritation. The next customer was eager to engage the cashier in a long discussion of last night's ball game. Yoshi could feel mounting frustration and anger. At last they were done, and it was Yoshi's turn. The cashier looked at him, smiled, and with a quick, "Sorry, break time, someone else will be right here," disappeared. Yoshi felt a surge of helpless fury, and as he waited, rehearsed with increasing rage the speech of protest and complaint he would make to the management. And as he did so, he became aware of a vague sense of tension and discomfort in his body, enough to remind him an idea he recently encountered in his mindfulness classes, the aversion signature. He quickly scanned his body and found his torso knotted in tension, a painful intensity in the center of his chest. He took his awareness right into it, making direct contact with the fierce intensity of the body's sensations and the sense of resistance to them, breathing into them, breathing out from them, and to Yoshi's amazement, the intensity, the anger, and the frustration fell away in a moment, just like that. Lost for words, Yoshi simply smiled at the new cashier as she took her place at the cash register and began packing his purchases. Yoshi realized that as soon as he turned into those painful emotions and experienced them in the body, that they disappeared almost miraculously. What this little reading is showing us is that reacting with aversion and avoidance actually creates this negative feedback loop. Frustration leads to anger, leads to aversion, leads to anger, leads to aversion, and so on. It continues. What we learn from this is that our reaction to those negative emotions, those difficult and unpleasant experiences, is what causes us to get stuck. It's not the unpleasant feeling or experience itself. When we experience unpleasant feelings, we have a choice, and that choice is going to determine our immediate happiness as well as our happiness in the future. That first choice is we automatically react with aversion. And by doing so, we create that first mind-body link and that negative chain reaction, and we get stuck in that unwanted and painful mindset and mental state. The second choice that we have is to, as best we can, consciously acknowledge and allow those negative feelings, thoughts, and body sensations to simply be there, even if we don't like them. When we do this, we take a powerful step forward in allowing our mind to go in a new direction and shift our mindset from one of not wanting, avoiding, aversion, to one of opening, accepting, and acknowledging. By doing this, we automatically break that first link in the chain of the vicious cycle of getting stuck in that negative mindset. We're allowing ourselves to be aware and then let it go. By doing this, it helps us explore the two truths of meditation that said to apply to every negative or difficult experience in our life. Those two things are all unpleasant feelings will pass on their own accord if we do not force them. And number two, there is a kind of peace and contentment that we can experience even in the presence of unpleasant feelings. So next week, I'm going to take you through a deeper dive of a sitting meditation and working with difficulties. But today I want to do a brief overview. So of course, you would settle into a comfortable position, maybe gently close your eyes, maybe take some deep breaths, center yourself with your breathing, maybe expand your awareness to your body as a whole, and then bring yourself back to the place we are. And then deliberately and intentionally take that awareness to wherever in the body the sensations related to that unpleasant experience or feeling are most intense. Then bring a gentle and kindly awareness to how you are relating in the body to that experience. And then continue to bring an interested and friendly awareness to those body sensations connected to the difficult experience and the aversion that you are feeling, and just allow them to be here. So we'll be taking a deeper dive into that next week, and we'll also be looking into the 3-minute breathing space again. Remember, the most important practice in mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy, simply because you can do it anywhere. It allows you to kind of reset, recenter yourself, and then hopefully carry that into the rest of your day. But this time, this 3-minute breathing space is going to be a response breathing space. So in response to those negative feelings instead of those set times of day. Hopefully, this is going to help us move from that recognizing aversion to the next step of allowing things to be as they are, recognizing them, and then making the choice to not choose aversion and instead allow that opening up and accepting of those feelings even though they might be unpleasant. And from there, relearning and moving forward. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful and mindful Monday and week, and we'll see you next Monday.